AOS fans!
It's the agents of Sigmar!
Pete and Robin here in front of the camera today.
Back together again.
Back together. Yes, you can see our lovely visages. And when we're in front of the camera, as you know, it normally means unboxing time, which is what we've got today. We have some unboxing. We have Age of Sigmar. Oh. And you say, well, haven't you already seen that? And I say, no, we have not.
Different one.
This is, we've got two. There's one here and a little baby one here, which is upside down. And a little baby one here. Now, what these are a couple of starter boxes. So I have in my hands, a small one is called Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the fantasy miniatures game Storm Strike. Warhammer Age of Sigmar starter set.
And I've got Tempest of Souls. You have to say it like that as well.
Yes, you do.
It's written upon.
Yeah.
And what are these, you might be asking?
You also says a Warhammer Age of Sigmar starter set, add paint and tools. We are the tools.
Yeah. And this is a hefty box.
It's heavy, isn't it? It's heavy, that one.
Yeah, you could kill a man with this.
So, as usual, I forgot to check the price. We will flash up the price at the end of all this. So these are two starter sets for Age of Sigmar, similar to the ones I did for 40k. And basically, you get everything you need in this box to play the game. So, we're going to have a quick look at these. We'll do this one first because it's smaller. So, the first thing we may notice is that I've opened it upside down. So we have the core rule. So as you know, or maybe you don't know if you're watching this and you don't know very much about Warhammer, everything you need to know to play a game of Warhammer is in this book.
And it's free online if you want a PDF, electronic on your iPad or your Android device.
It's all, you can watch, you read it, you can watch it.
You can watch it, it doesn't do a lot.
But that's all in there, and that's kind of like the basic rules for playing a game, and which you can do with the miniatures.
And this, I think, is exactly the same booklet as you would get in the Age of Sigmar 2.0 Soul Wars.
It is, and then there's a book on how to assemble your miniatures when you get in here. And actually, Pete, how many miniatures do you get in this set?
Well, Robin, I'm glad you asked, because you get in this box 3 Sequitors, 3 Castigators, 1 Griffhound, 4 Glaive Wraith Stalkers, and 4 Murmorn Banshees.
So enough to have a little battle. So 8 to 10 models aside.
Yeah, you also get some dice. Yeah, 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
8 to 10, you were mostly wrong.
Okay. But mostly wrong is what I aim for.
7 and 8, and you get a little dice pack, a range ruler and stuff, and play that, which will show you. So, since we talked about the miniatures, there's a little book on how to assemble your miniatures. Now, this is very, very exciting for us AOS old-timers who used to have silver models and then grey models. What do we have, Pete? What do we have? Look at these. Oh, look at these. You've got gold models.
Gold.
Swing. Now, people might be used to these because they did do gold models before when they did. They re-released the first AOS box with gold and red.
I didn't know
and
that.
of course, any Shadespire fans would also know that you do get coloured models. So gold is fancy, but it's old news.
Yeah, there are a few games now that do have colour models for helping side.
But you don't get gold,
so you don't have to paint them. But these are the Nighthaunts.
You get this greeny sort of
the ghosty guys, and they're greeny turquoisey Nighthaunt colours.
Spooky Spirit Ghosts.
So basically, if you're a young player of Warhammer or not player of Warhammer, you want to learn how to play Warhammer, you can get this set. You can have a battle, and you don't even have to paint them because it's very obvious immediately which side.
They are all, as you can probably tell, or maybe not on these, but they are all push fit. So there's no glue required again. Just like the original AOS box.
Exactly, they are original AOS. The original AOS 2 box.
AOS 2 box, yes.
The original AOS 2 box is push fit. These are push fit. I don't know. Are these models unique? I don't remember there being sculpted bases in the AOS 2 box.
Because there was much furor when the models were shown up. The people going, some of these models have got moulded bases. That must mean that they're the next Shadespire Warbands. But no, they're just part of these new funky sets. So
these have moulded bases, which are pretty cool.
They are nice. They are very nice.
I've got a bit of a weakness for a moulded base. I do rather like them, and that wasn't rude, Pete.
But it wasn't. To be fair, the most bizarre fetish to have.
Yes, well, it is. And then there's a range ruler, which nobody ever uses.
Wobbly range ruler.
Take your measure out. But you can use it. I shouldn't. If you flip it, you can use it. Because
if you don't have anything to start with, then you can use this.
Yeah, and it does work. And actually, you can even bend it down corners. It's good. And because the actual playing area,
if you want to measure around
this is fantastic. Now, if I was 12 again, I would. This
squeal with delight.
This is so brilliant because it's something you can play your game on immediately. It's a sort of shiny. It wouldn't be very good under our light. It's not too bad. A bit reflective, but it's a really shiny, lovely battle mat. I'm not sure what size it is.
I think it's based off of the.
I can use the ruler to work out what size it is.
There is the it's a photo as well of the actual model. So you can see there are Citadel trees on there, and I believe this is from the Shattered Dominions. I'm just going to guess now. Shattered Dominions.
Okay, you guess. I have no idea.
Boards. They've got some pre-made plastic boards that you can buy. Robin's just very, very quickly, very roughly measuring about 40
About
inches.
40 by 22, I think I just got
Quite
it
long
out
and
to be.
thin.
Yeah.
But I think that's to give you that length of the board that you would normally have in a game, but not giving you too much width because you don't want to go too mad.
No,
you don't
no.
want a 6 foot by 4 foot board.
So you've only got 7 models anyway, 7 models,
Yes.
8 models on the side. So yeah, you want to play that. But you know what's missing?
What's missing?
It's missing any 3D.
It is.
If only it came with something 3D.
That would be handy. But wait, what's this? Like they did with the 40k version
You
before.
can turn the box over,
Upside down.
so everything was in there, and you can turn it over and put it on there.
Bam!
No, you can't see it. I'll put it here. Look.
But I wouldn't put it on like that because that was a bit of an angle. But you can.
There you go. So there you've got some scenery to play with, and you might be thinking, what does all that mean? It's all in this rather nifty,
That's quite a chunky book.
all in this nifty Storm Strike book,
Storm Strike.
which has the kind of
Collect, build, paint, play.
exactly all with exclamation marks. So this is, I think, the same as the beginning of the core rule book.
Yes.
But what you'll notice is it's much thinner than the core rule book, and
It's not a big.
which is great because I have to say, if you're a kid, I would have thought that would be really off-putting, the size of that rule book.
Depends
And
on
there's a
what
lot
kind of kid you are, because I was a pretty
information.
nerdy kid and
You
I
think-
liked reading a lot of stories. So, but
Even before you'd ever started playing.
yeah, you got a good point there. I think cut down and a bit quicker
Maybe
would be
we
better
probably
to start
come
with.
from different, because there is some lore in here. There is lore in here. There is sort of how to play the game, and then there is the bits about the Stormcast Eternals and bits about the Nighthawk. So there's the Stormcast Eternals page there. Blah, 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 blah. So there is lore in here, but it's not the masses of lore, 200 pages of lore before you can get to play the game.
No.
There's a little bit about how to paint.
Nice little section in there for painting your models, painting your
Yeah.
Stormcast.
I think some of this stuff is also repeated. They're doing a kind of magazine with a free figure, sort of introduction to Warhammer. I think this is repeated in there. Some of this information, and then a start playing thing. So there's actual battle plan 1 surrounded, and it just tells you a little, says you a little
Gives you a
simple
little diagram,
how to play, and then how to
move
roll
things, how to measure
2d6.
things. Because you see, some of us old timers, we kind of take a little bit of it for granted, and things like movement and rolling dice is just, you don't even need to say that. But if this has been picked up by a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 14-year-old kid who's never really played dice games before, you've got to start from the very beginning, and this is what that does. It really gives you that solid. When we say 4d6, this is what 4d6 is.
Exactly,
and
and
that's
it kind of goes through fighting, and then shooting, and the second one, and
Shooting.
then the crypt, which is a sort of more complicated battle.
See, there's a bit
movement
where-
phase, shooting phase, charge phase, and combat phase, and then goes into the battle shot phase and swap player. So it's all the basics of playing the game, which is
liberally
great.
plastered with GW's signature beautiful models
Gorgeous.
and lovely
Realms
layouts.
of War. So there's the Vengeance of Azure. Then there's more lore at the back after you've played.
It's got the little bit there about all the different realms and stuff,
Yeah,
and then some
at the very
beautiful
back-
shots of all the models.
At the very back, you've got all the models, shots, and this is boring now, but there is the Free City of Glimsforge, so all the stuff that's kind of core to
Everything you need.
Soul Wars that you can go on to if you want to.
Yep.
There's that one, so that is kind of like the real basic starter, and I get Pete to flash up the price now. And that's lovely. Really
And it all
lovely.
comes in a nice little, that was the size of the box that it all came in, and it gives you loads to go on with. And it's the kind of thing where, at that price, I don't think it's a terrible price at all for what you get in the models.
I think the
are,
price
as
of these
always,
sets is normally pretty good compared with the rest of the range. You could argue all day about Games Workshop pricing structures, but they're premium products. And so,
But the models are. I mean, these aren't.
they're not cut down models at all. The
They're
rules are cut
definitely
down.
not cut down models. They're the models you get in the main box. They are absolutely superb quality. They're push fit, and it's not like the old days back in 3rd edition 40k and stuff, where your models that came in the box were all one piece. These are incredibly dynamic posed, and lots of extra cloth all on the models to make them even more, and all push fit as well.
All push fit.
Yeah.
But you do also. I think in some ways these are great. The models are great, but you're going to get the models anyway. Something to play on when you're a beginner is just so good.
Having a mat.
Just playing on your dining room table.
Yes, because you
table
play
mat
on it. It's
and
just
your
a
jam
bit.
jar.
It's just it's dull. You're looking at it, and it's got no. It doesn't give you that.
And you're either looking at
sense.
shelling out money for new things, which when we were kids you couldn't really do,
No.
or you're trying to build it out paper mache, which never
Oh,
worked.
that was that
and
did
stuff
never
like
work well.
that. Never worked. So I think that's great. And then if you like that, then I guess you could then think about going on to Tempest of Souls, Pete, if you want to pass that over.
So that gives you a nice little grounding, nice little taster to whet your appetite, and then you come into this beast of a box, which is what a lovely mug you've got there.
Thank you.
I wonder we can get those.
Available online. Check out the comments below.
And you got this beastly box next, which is about as big as the original AOS 2 box.
Pretty much is, and it's pretty weighty as well.
It is really weighty. Like I say, you could probably kill a man with that. I mean, he's got to sit very still, but you probably could. And that's the quality I always look for in my boxes.
So in here we've got
Much and many things.
yes, more figures. 10 chain ra. So you've got sort of 20 figures on the Nighthawk side, and
You've got about
less on the
about 10 or so, 10 to 12 on the other
Yeah.
side. But they do
No-
have like a big guy with a ballista and
no
and
big
stuff.
beasties in this one.
No big beasties, no. But more foot troops, and this pairs very nicely with the other box because you get some of a unit in here. I know some people were complaining with AOS 2 that the unit sizes you got, none of them were full proper
Right, okay,
units. So
right.
you might have 4 of a model, but the unit size is 10. And they go, well, I've only got 4 of 10. But
Right.
this combines very nicely with that little box and also with the main AOS 2 box, which will pretty much pad out all your units, I think, and give you loads of extra models.
Although I would say to that actually if you're starting to play the game, then you're probably not worried about unit size so much.
No, that's true. That is also true.
Because I remember, this is going back to when I was a kid. I mean,
When I was a
unit
lad.
unit size didn't really exist. I just played with what models I had.
Yeah.
And this is kind of going towards that. So this is
Plus,
like the
unit
narrative
size
open
only
play.
matters if you're playing matched games.
Exactly.
If you're playing open
so
play
I
or
think the
anything else,
youngsters,
doesn't
the
matter.
Games Workshop were very keen to stress that there are 3 ways to play this game. In fact, when AOS first arrived, the reason there was so much outcry was that they almost wanted to do away with the match play.
They got rid of points entirely. to start with.
Exactly. Now the match play, actually, the match play community is huge, and I think anybody who does pick these sets up will end up playing match play because that's what people want to play.
It's the easiest way to play, I think, if you
fair
just turn
game.
up at a store and you
Yeah.
want that fair game. And a lot of people go, it's not fair because the points aren't balanced. And calm down, it's fair enough. It's more fair than turning up with 5 bloodthirsters and your opponent's got a goblin. So
Yeah, I don't know what that means. But and so I think these guys are really suited to the narrative type play, which I think suits younger children. I think suits younger, newer players better.
Yes.
Just play with the models that you've got, and you've got lovely models here. And you can have some great games.
It gives
and then
you-
can build your collection, and then you can start
Yes.
thinking about how playing competitively and what points are and all that kind of stuff.
yes, this just gives you that grounding, the rolling the dice, the moving the models, the collecting a small army, the assembly, and in this case, the painting and all that stuff.
Yes,
as
because
well.
this one has tools in it. Tools,
Right here.
I tell you.
Here are the tools. So we're going to open this box as well. And straight away we've got, see, these aren't the moulded bases.
No,
Just
no
like in
moulded
AOS 2, regular normal bases.
Just regular bases there.
And everyone went, pshaw, we don't care for them. And these are the goldy models.
You can see the crossbow ballista type thing there.
Oh yeah, it's chunky.
So I think these are replica, or these are gold replicas or whatever of the models that are in the main box.
I think they are because in the main box they're grey, aren't
Yeah, there are just less of them than you get in the main box. But this is a cheaper set again, people. Look at the price. So there we
And you've
go.
got your crossbow doodles. These do appear to be a different sprue setup as well. So maybe there was more in the main box. So I'd have to hold them all side to side to really get a good idea. But you get all your models there in typical push fit style, no glue required.
dice. There were
Dice,
dice.
little bag of
There were
dice.
dice in the other one too.
They were
We'll
dice
show
now.
them. There were
And
dice
they're
in
different size ones. They look smaller. They look weenie. Well, they look the same size as each other, but they look weenier than your standard.
I think they've
dots
changed the
look
standard. Oh, you also got decals for putting
Oh,
on
yes.
your troops in both boxes.
bigger. And another. One
Look at that big base. Look at that. Imagine you might have fun with that. I'm guessing that's for the ballista.
I'm guessing that is for the ballista.
And then you've got a great big book in here, which I haven't even taken a sip of.
I do like the little next steps. Other things to buy. Here's a nice little checklist of stuff that you will want. It's got all the lovely pics on the back. GW
Stuff
do
you
know
will
how
buy.
to really, really push their models because they are absolutely gorgeous.
So there's War Scroll cards in here and actually for things that aren't in the box, because give you a taster. And I have to say, Pete and I got a little bit confused and thought maybe I put the wrong ones in. They were actually in there are some in this box too, to give you a taster for what's out there.
And I have to say that this is a big thing of AOS2, and I love these.
They are
I love the
gorgeous.
fact that you can sit there and you go, okay, I've got these units in my army. I just need to have these cards to hand. You can put them down next to where your units are on the tabletop, and you can see everything that applies to them. You haven't got to go hunting through a rule book for any of the rules. I mean, this is one of the big selling points of AOS in the first place, was to make it all simpler, and that's all you need. This is it. I mean, Robin's showing you, these are all you need to be able to play. And it's brilliant.
I'll show you the beauty of them. It's a bit of a mess underneath it, so apologies for that. But there you go. There's the sequiturs. This is all has all the stats which you'll learn if you read the rule book. Now, there's another rule book in Tempest of Souls. There. Again, it has a very similar beginning with the.
Is that not the same book? No, it isn't the same book because it's called something completely different.
It's called something different, but it's
Stormstrike. They look very similar. Very similar.
Stormstrike, Tempest of Souls.
Very similar books. Very similar.
That one is
covers.
Slightly thicker, so I'm not sure. Probably has less. It probably has more battle plans in it.
Yes, so
it's more miniatures.
And you've got.
But I imagine the stuff at the beginning, the painting miniature stuff, is probably the same. Glazing, basing.
I think it is almost exactly the same. It's the same layout, same models. It's the same section at the start.
So I've got. In fact, this is similar. They are similar because there's battle plan for Hallowed Ground. That was happening.
And I've got the Crypt here. I've got Lords of the Arcane.
Oh, so
there are different battle plans.
They are different, yeah.
But it does the same thing again.
This is why it was the same. I'm looking at the Stormstrike book. Apologies. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
Can't get the stuff. And this gives you some different battle plans to the first one. It gives you most of the same stuff otherwise, the how to paint stuff, some history, some fluff, and all that kind of good stuff. It's a little bit thicker than the first one because it's got a few more bits of information in there.
And there's another playmat.
Beautiful. That is the same, yeah. I wouldn't look at that. It looks the same, yeah. It is.
Exactly the same. So the gaming mat, which is the same as we've already seen, but this has a false bottom.
Ooh-ah!
So this is a bigger box. You've got more scenery there, bigger scenery to take part.
And you could put the smaller one on top of the big one. You've got like a little ziggurat of some kind of style.
Demonstrate a ziggurat.
You know how long I had to wait when I was a kid before I got any kind of 3D terrain? Back in my day, we didn't have 3D terrain.
Stones.
We had to make it up, and we were glad. We weren't glad. I love this. This is so much better. It's so much nicer these days. And we've got a second layer
over here. There's a second layer, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
And it's got paints, and it's got proper Citadel paints. And what I'm really pleased to see is they really work tightly worked in. Now, what I'm
You're
really
not going to spill these.
I'm really pleased to say that funny enough is a shade paint, which is actually smaller than the standard top points, but they're actually
the full size ones.
They're the full size.
Yay!
Because I had a bit of an issue with some of the other starter sets they've done in the past, some of the build and paint sets, that they did them in with tiny pots, cut down pots of these,
and they were so
they dried
small,
out.
They dried out really quick.
Fast.
Yeah.
So here you've got corn red. I'm not going to read them all out. But corn red, Rakarth flesh. Well, I haven't got Rakarth flesh.
Retributor armour.
And
all your good old fashioned. It's got to be Celestial Grey.
But you've also got some texture paint for the bases and some
shades.
Fresh shade washes.
Got some of these,
which I think actually these
actually look like a better quality pair than some of the sets might give you.
They're a really nice pair. I do like a nice pair. And I have to say, all the things you buy on top of your accessories, these are probably the best things to get.
Definitely.
Because they make cutting out the miniatures so easy, much easier. When we were kids,
God, do you remember pushing them out? Just pushing them out sometimes.
Yeah, twisted them.
Yeah, twisting them off. God, it makes me
slicing your fingers off.
Makes me feel slightly sick just thinking about it.
The thing is, because I've tried to do it with the scalpel recently because I'm tight and didn't want to buy them.
He's honest.
The thing with it is really because these are for kids. If you're going to give it to children, you don't really want to give them scalpels.
Nice and safe,
especially not my cheap scalpels, cheap modelling knives. And so these are really safe, and you can actually say you cut those out and you do it, and then they feel great.
Much less chance of injuring themselves.
Yeah, so I totally think you should definitely get some of these. Or if you buy the set, they come with them, so you don't need
I ran an after-school club before AOS 2 came out, and they all had Stormcast figures to assemble, and I just had a load of pairs of those.
Oh, okay.
And it was so much nicer that you can just give those out, and you haven't got to worry about someone slicing their fingers off. I mean, anybody who's over probably the age of mid to late 20s has probably at some point has probably slashed themselves somewhere trying to open these things. But not only that, you've got this other little funky tool,
which I've never owned one of those because I'm tight.
Because he's tight. I'm just going to throw it away. Don't even want that anymore. And you've got this. It's a help me out, Robin.
Scraper.
That's the one.
It's
the
a mold line scraper, and I've never owned one again because I'm tired. And
it's a funky little tool, which it just kind of looks like a piece of flat metal, and that's all it is. But it gives you a nice.
Which is why I've never owned one.
I don't need that. I can make one of them.
Exactly, yes. For those of you who don't know, the mould line scraper, the way the process works for when they make these miniatures, the plastic's blown into the moulds. So when you cut them out and assemble them, there are where the plastic's gone in, there are little lines left in the models, and so you need to make the models look as good as you possibly can. You need to remove the mould, smooth out the mould. I'm terrible at it. I find that I remove what I think I found, and when I've actually painted them, I find about 100 more. But having a tool to do that is so much easier. So this little thing is just really great for scraping out those.
A lot of us old timers once again would have used a scalpel or
I still do use
a Stanley knife or things like that.
I do use it, or a file, but yes.
And the thing I find that's good about these is that a scalpel or a Stanley knife blade sometimes leaves little divots in it as you go because they're a bit sharper.
Yeah, and you can damage the model.
And you can damage the model,
if you slice the wrong bit.
But because these ones it's just a blunt 90-degree edge piece of metal, it's much easier to rub it along the mould line, and it just takes the mould line off, and you've got a nice curve there as well, which you might be able to see.
You own one of these?
Got a nice I do.
You own it.
I actually own the proper mould line tool, which has a bigger handle and stuff.
Such a fanboy.
I am such a fan. Yeah. But since I bought it changed my life.
I did really okay.
Not that good, but it was good. It was very good, and I ruined a few.
Well, I suppose I have to say, buying the clippers did
don't knock it till you've tried it.
Massively improve my experience.
You watch in a few weeks, Robin's going to be doing blog post basis. He's going to be saying, I love this, I love it. Probably not, but you never know.
It's probably true, but they are the starter sets, and I think they're really great.
And you've got this just a little bit around the edge to hold it all in place nicely and make it look. I thought there might have been something in there. I got a little excited. It's just empty boxing, but it's the same empty boxing that you get in the AOS 2 box. So if you do actually want to store stuff, there's little storage spaces in the side there. If you get any more stuff, you actually want to use this to put all that stuff in, which is quite handy.
Yeah, well, it is handy because quite often these boxes have a lot of air in them, and then you end up taking up loads of space on your shelf, and then
you also get
a paintbrush.
You also get a paintbrush,
and actually I haven't used it, but it looks better than the old starter brushes.
Yes, and it is still a starter brush, but it does look like to be a much finer point to that one.
So those are those sets. I think they're really good. So I can't quite remember the price of it. It's a cheaper access to the hobby, and you may even find if you do buy these, you don't even need the Soul Wars set because you can pick up the rule book separately. If you want to, or actually all you need for the game is here. And when you decide where you want to take your game, then you decide what product you want to buy to go with that. So I think this is a brilliant jumping off point if you've never played.
Any parents who are either into the hobby, such as we are, who maybe their kids have decided they want to get into, and you don't want to spend a huge amount of money straight away, you can get that smaller set, and it's a brilliant jumping off point. And if they enjoy that and they do put it all together and they do stick with it, then you can move on to this one. This gives you the paints and everything as well, because we don't want to give our kids our paintbrushes because they will give them their own stuff, let them make their own way in life. So you can get them this one. This gives them more models, it gives them more stuff, and if they're still enjoying it at that point and they want either the Stormcast or the Nighthawk armies, then you go on to the big boy. You go on to AOS 2 and you've got pretty sizable forces from those 3 boxes.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think they're great. So they are those starter sets. They'll be out by the time this video goes out. So check them out.
Yep, go and have a look. Well worth the look if you're into AOS. If you're thinking about AOS 2, can't recommend it enough, really.
So that's the box sets, Stormstrike and Tempest of Souls. Check them out. Check out loads of stuff on the Games Workshop website. They've got their own gamesworkshop.co.uk. They've got all the stuff on it. But then there is also a Warhammer AgeofSigmar.com as well, with loads of stuff about how to build.
And Warhammer community site as well, which gives you loads and loads of stuff.
They've got the lady from whatever, Geek and Sundry, looking off into the middle distance to tell you how to play. So do go and have a look and enjoy it. Games Workshop are really, really supporting their younger players with these products and just their general outlook, the way they interact with their customers.
I feel
it's the best time for the youngster to join, I think.
And I feel that some of the more negative older guard might be saying it's just a cash grab, that they want to just grab younger kids in. But I think, you know what, if we don't get more young people in, the hobby will die.
Exactly.
So
we were all young once, and it was a bit intimidating trying to get into it. And actually, the hobby. Not only do you need more people to play, Games Workshop need to make money to survive, to keep making the products for the old guys too.
Exactly.
So,
and if you can get your kids into this game, then you've got an opponent at home that you can thrash every other weekend to your heart's content.
At least until they're sort of 7 or 8, and then they'll start winning.
Yeah.
Right, well, thank you very much, AOS fans. I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions about the sets, do put them in the comments below, and do check out, if you want to, our Patreon link is down there too, but if you're just coming to the hub, it's probably a little bit early for that. Do check out our Shadespire content. Shadespire is another great game for people who are dipping a toe into the world of Games Workshop. It's nowhere near as intimidating as playing a full massive battle in a shop or whatever. You can play over a table, so do check out our Shadespire content. And we've got other fun stuff coming through. Games Workshop are pushing new stuff for younger players and older players all the time, so do check us out. Do subscribe if you wish, if you've enjoyed this video, if you like the sound of our voices.
Subscribe button, if you like the look of our faces.
But if not, then maybe you'll stumble across us again one day.
Yeah, who knows.
Until that time, adieu.
Bye-bye.
Bye.